Question number 1. Do you have business cards? Of course you do. We all have been told that having business cards is like the most important thing you can possibly have as a creative. Question number 2. When was the last time you actually gave one of your business cards to someone? Well, yeah, we haven't met anyone new since like last March, so personally I can't even remember. I bet you anything that you have one of these little boxes somewhere in your house that you haven't even touched since last March. Does this mean that business cards are irrelevant? Well, yes and no. Let me explain. Hey you guys, welcome back to our channel, the number one place for people who love design, art and all things creative. My name is Laszlo, you are watching Dantier Balogh's channel, DMB for short. And in this video I want to give you some icon design tips, because I believe you should update your Instagram highlight covers with some personalized artwork. Hear me out, here's my theory. This part of your Instagram, here, this is your business card. For now at least, until things can get back to quote-unquote normal and we are safe to live our social lives once again. Just like your work clothes and your rail card, I'm guessing your business cards are going to remain untouched for a while. So, while we are waiting, I think it's quite a nice and trendy thing to do to up your self-branding a little bit and talk about Insta highlight cover design. I want to give you 4 great tips to design an icon set that you can use as Instagram highlight covers. I'm saying icon set, but they don't actually have to be icons. You can do whatever you want with these highlights. More on that later. I'm going to use Adobe Illustrator for my example to back up my points, but I'm going to talk in terms of principles and general advice, so you can apply this any way you want. If you want to make these in Photoshop, if you want to use Canva, if you want to hand draw some, it's your choice. Just do whatever fits your brand the most. Are you ready? Let's go. In my example, I'm going to show you how I have designed a new set of highlight covers for Jacqueline's personal Instagram account. We have felt that her old covers are just a little bit outdated. It doesn't say much about her or her personal brand per se, not to mention they were a little bit hard to read. So my very first tip would be to think of a style that really does complement your brand. It doesn't really matter if it's a business account you have, where you have a logo as your profile picture, or if it's your personal account with a photo of yourself. The point is, these highlights need to feel like they belong to your account. In Jacqueline's example, you can see we have this ID style picture of her face. So what I did is take some of the colors that you can see here, these autumn, peachy, orangey shades of her makeup, and based on these I have built up my basic color scheme that I'm going to use. Now if you want to take this a step further, you can actually come up with an even stronger concept that works only for your brand. What I mean by this is, let's say you are a makeup artist and all your posts are about beauty and different makeups, eyeshadows, that kind of stuff. You could do color fills with a little bit of a sparkle on top and create a set like that that sort of resembles, you know, an eyeshadow palette. Or let's say you are a photographer, you could do like, you know, camera lenses. If you like to repair cars, you could do like, you know, little tires. The point is to use this circular, quirky, quite weird picture format and use it to your advantage. Come up with something clever, because that's going to make your brand memorable. Of course, if it's a personal account like what we are dealing with here, there might not be an obvious concept jumping at you per se, and you would have a wide variety of different groups of story highlights, in which case again, the best thing you can do is to look at your profile picture and build a set which complements this key piece of artwork on your profile. Here you can see I have done all the legwork, set up multiple artboards and style guides, which leads me to my next point. Work on all the designs simultaneously so you can oversee the whole creative process. All this prep of looking for examples, sizing up artboards, make a color palette, this is all, you know, it can be a lot of work. But once you have all these elements in place, the actual design process will just run so much smoother. You will thank yourself later on the line. As you can see, I create a layer for every step on the way. One for the baseline work, the skeletons as I like to call them. Then I will make a layer for the background colors, then the shape fill colors, and so on and so on. As I said, working on these icons simultaneously means that once I'm done with one rough skeleton per se, I move on to the other. and then another, until I have something for pretty much all of them. In my example, we are making 14 different icons, which is quite a lot, so some of them are bound to be a bit more complicated than the others. But you know, juggling with them this way just keeps me on brand, just to make sure they do relate to each other as much as they can, so they feel like a proper set. Okay, my third point is reinforcing the previous point. Use copy and paste generously. To make a continuous set, you not only have to make sure that you have the same line weight if your work is line art based, but every other aspect has to match as well. The color, the sizing, the shape language. I mean, literally, once you get 2 or 3 of these icons done, you involuntarily have created a bit of a style guide for yourself anyway. So from that on, it's 100% okay to copy and paste different elements to create the rest of the icon set. Copy circles, rectangles, sometimes whole shapes, depending on what you need. I have seen great examples of highlight covers when the key art is actually the same on all of them, and the only thing that changes is the background. That can work really well as well. Here you can see the first icon I have made is this bowl of noodles, and then later on I needed a cup of tea, so I literally just copied and pasted my bowl and gave it an ear. It's one of those cases where it's totally okay to be a bit lazy. The thing is, when you're making a series like this, people will subconsciously recognize that some of the shapes are repeated again and again, which will strengthen this original vision, the overarching style of your whole set. As my fourth and last tip, I would just like to remind you that in order to really make these icons yours, you shouldn't listen to anyone who's trying to give you advice on how to design these highlight covers. No, but seriously, you have to make them feel like they belong to you, so you have to find a way to make them work in a unique manner only you could. I'm sure some designers would cringe if they saw that I didn't use any grids for this work whatsoever, but you know, they represent a way of working that I enjoy working on. Also, proper designers would probably lecture you on the principle of making these icons as simple as possible, because graphic design is all about function, don't try to be an artist, right? But if you or your client want a bunch of these decorative lines thrown into the picture, then do it. Don't keep it minimal and clean and Apple Store-like if that's not you. Of course, there are some guidelines that are useful to keep on mind, like you should make sure that the icons look neat and readable. These are going to be tiny after all. Also, in the very end, I like to make a 1000 pixel radius circle, just to see how well my icons are going to fit in this format. But yeah, don't let that stop you from personalizing. The thing is, at this point, more and more people have realized the power of these little highlight covers. But a lot of these people are not designers, so they are just throwing them together using templates and presets, which is fine, but I believe if you want to stand out, you should always try and make something that is new and goes somewhat against the grain. And what's a better way to do that than doing things your way? Okay, my icon set is all done. If you wanna see them live, you can check them out on Jacqueline's Instagram page, and I have posted most of these on my business page as well. Also, if you agree or disagree with my drawn parallel with the idea of Instagram acting as your business card, feel free to leave your opinion down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a big thumbs up, because it does really help out our channel a great deal. And feel free to subscribe and hit that notification button if you wanna see our content about art, design, illustration, graphics, interiors, architecture, and everything in between. Take care guys, and I'll see you this time next week. Bye!